So, I updated the SOP a little bit just to provide a little bit more detail, but there are some more things that I need to put in. So we'll get that figured out here in the next week or so. Okay. So let's start with, let me just bring up your recording sheet. So 463 is where you started. I got rid of the blue, so I had to check real quick. Okay, so this was our first one. And let me just pull this over a little bit so we can see my notes. Okay. So this first one, you noted that there was an easement on the front by the house. So let's take a look at
Sorry, are
this one.
you sure your notes sure
Right.
speak?
I always forget to do that. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. So you may note here, nice block wide frontage, has clear. However, I can't drop in on a GPS, so that'll just give us an indication that there's probably no utilities there, but sometimes we still want to mail. So this would be a situation where I would mail, and the reason for that is there's some homes built, so there's precedent, right? Like there's a house here, right? If we wanted to just try and quickly take a look, see what you're talking about. Yeah, so it looks like you can't get there. However, there are some actually really decent sized homes built in the area, and for that reason, I would still mail here. Like if you couldn't get there and it didn't look like there was any building at all, then it just seems like it's not a very highly sought after area. So we'll just stay away from it. But in this case, there's plenty of homes out there that shows people not only are willing to live there, but they're willing to dig their own well and have a septic tank, etc. So you just need, there's just an added process of putting in a septic tank and digging a well, but people are willing to do it. Okay, let's see. I know we did this last time, but I want to look at this anyways because I wrote it has a house on it. I don't know if it's something we're gonna want to mail. Yeah. So sometimes you look and it has a structure, but it might just be a shed. In which case, like we talked about, like an old abandoned barn or shed or something, and we'd still mail. But this is a full-blown house. You can tell just by its size relative to the rest of the land, 3 acres, and this is substantial. So we're not going to want to mail this. So I'm just going to make this red. Okay. Let's look. Okay, so I wouldn't subdivide this based on the size of the lots on the road, I wrote. So let's take a look at this one. So if I just get rid of the contour lines just so I can clean this up a little bit. It doesn't really look like there's super small lots in that area. So to cut this in half, yeah, can you subdivide this? Yes, absolutely. But I don't know if I would, because it doesn't look like people are really buying smaller lots in that area. I know on this street, it looks like somebody probably bought this entire thing and
Mm-hmm.
made it really small. But as it pertains specifically to the road or the street that this property's on, this is about the average size of the lot. I could check to see if it's in an HOA. No. So there's probably nothing saying we couldn't subdivide it. I just don't know that I would. It says somebody bought this land for $359,000 11 years ago, and we have it priced at $90,000. However, this guy lives right next door, and there's a house. So he bought this. We haven't talked about this. He probably subdivided this lot off of his main property. He probably bought this entire thing, and sometimes you can just check by the price. So last purchase price $359. If I click on that, it also says $359. So he bought this all together. This reflects this price, even though it's its own separate lot. So I have no problem pricing this at $90,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
the last purchase price is the entire block,
Exactly.
which we already subdivided.
Exactly. So sometimes when yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes even though I know that it was bought the entire block, when I comp it, it still reflects that the price was this and the comp will be affected. Like I think I encountered that too.
Okay. So when I in some of your notes I saw you say that. So when we get to those, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Here I said too much slope, too small of a lot affects the smaller lots a little bit more. So in other words, when it's a really big lot and there's some slope, you could probably still make an offer on it, because if it's big enough, chances are higher that you can find a place to build. But when it's a lot this size, so it looks like a nice lot, but then when we add this in, yeah, you can see that it drops off considerably there. Somebody put a house there. So, there's precedent. You could build a home there. Somebody put a house here as well. They'd have to put it right at the front. That's about a 30-foot drop. Again, with that being said, you could probably price it a little bit lower if we wanted to offer that. I think we can just skip it. I think we could just say no. So we can make this red.
Question.
Sure.
Regarding the slope, what's our maximize maybe feet that we can still consider buying?
Sure.
Like I see a lot of slope on the in this particular county, but I just wanted to know what's our maximum range that we can allow.
Sure, that's a great question. It really is a great question. And this is where it's kind of more of an art than a science. I don't know that I'd give you an exact number. I think the easiest way to determine it is, again, how big is the lot? So in this case, this lot is like 3 acres. No, it's, how big is this? It's only 2 acres. And so at the front, it's 2,264 feet, and then down here it's 21. What is that? It is probably like 2170. So it's almost 100 feet drop off, and so that's a substantial in a two acre lot. I would go more based on like what's the gapping between the lines. So the more dramatic the slope, the closer these lines are, like over here. Like that's substantial. And then just quickly do like a side view. That is such a dramatic drop off. This is a really good example. I wouldn't want to build a house on this. And again, that doesn't mean you can't, and it doesn't mean people won't. But your buyer pool is going to shrink. There's only going to, if there's 100 people looking for a 2 acre property in that area, maybe 3 of them know how to build a house on a slope, or better put, maybe 3 of them only are looking for slope like that or find it acceptable to them. The majority of people would prefer a flatter parcel, which is why we just don't even bother with it really, because again, the end game is to sell it. And if it's going to
Mhm.
sit on there, we're going to battle slope. We'll have to adjust our price, and it can become challenging. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at this one. Narrow road frontage. Not sure how to reprice this. It's close to the creek. Sold comp show wide price range. Sold for $600,000, but there's nothing special about it. No establishments nearby and only electricity available. So this is a tricky one. Let's see what we get. I wrote, I would still mail. So we definitely want to mail it. Let me get this back to a better view. Yeah, so this is a typical flag lot. If we bring contour layer back, so it's flat. If we were to quickly look at a link, yeah, so you can't get there. Let's see, is this the right one? All right, so let's comp the property. Okay. So to your point, there was one that's, wow, this sold for a lot. And then this one too, like you're talking about. So let's just look at this property. Why did this go for so much? Yeah, and there's an easement there. So if I quickly just grab the address here and put that in. Yeah, so somebody built a house on it. It doesn't show up, but if you go back and look, you can see somebody put a house on it. Or that actually looks like it's so sometimes the land is tied into the build of the home. So for example, there's plans to build it, and so they tied in the purchase of the home with the land. Even though the home wasn't built, that's effectively what it sold at, because they also purchased the cost to build the house. So fortunately, here is a great example of a rendering of a home that they probably, that $650,000 reflects the purchase of this home, even though it wasn't built. So sometimes people get a little creative with financing. They can, like I said, they can tie in the purchase of the property with actually the purchase of the home, so they only have one mortgage. Perhaps whatever the land was listed at vacant, they couldn't afford that. It's so, just to give a little bit of context, there are banks that issue mortgages to the housing market. They don't like giving people loans on land because they don't understand the commodity. They understand houses, right? There's a structure. You can add and decrease value. With land, God forbid something happens and they take out a loan on land, or they issue a loan. A bank gives a loan to, let's say, me. There's $100,000 piece of land, and I don't have $100,000. If they loaned it to me and I defaulted and I couldn't make my payments anymore, well, then they have to foreclose me and they repossess the land. Banks don't want to do that. They can do houses, because to them, houses are easy to turn back around, put it on the market, and sell it off, or in a estate of sale or a foreclosure. But with land, it's land doesn't really increase in value, so it's hard for them to recoup their money. So for that reason, I'm willing to bet that this person was able to secure the property through also taking out a mortgage on the home to be built. But nevertheless, very simply, we know that this is an outlier, right? And this one is too, but we were just looking at this one. It's an outlier, so we're automatically not going to consider the outlier. Let's see what this says. So it says 57,000. Yeah, there's a house there. So again, same situation. The land was valued at 57,000, but they tied in the building of the property into their mortgage, which is why this number is reflected in that. Even this is pretty high. I'm wondering why this one's so high. Oh, there's a structure on it. So your highest comp was 48,000. Let's see what that is. Yeah, I wouldn't use this as a comp because there's a structure on it. Right? We're looking to only comp using vacant parcels. So I would just get rid of this one. Let's take a quick look at this. So these pictures are of the actual property, and this looks like what it's nearby, like a community. So like this looks like it's common land shared by everybody in the neighborhood. So this isn't the actual property. Those first three photos are a good representation of what the property is. So I would use this as a comp. This is 3.1 acres, a little bit more, 1 more acre than what we are looking to comp. But this is fine, and especially because the distance is so close. Let's look at this one. So they're highlighting the road. There's a lot of photos in this one. So this is the parcel with road frontage. There's some slope here. There you go. That's a good picture. So this is a good comp. Around 20,000. This one came in at a lot. Let's see why. I would say this 38,000 is probably an outlier. If the other two are starting to hover around 20,000, let's look at this one. .8 sold for 54. So we already grabbed that one. Let's look at this one. Wooded, large lot, not far from town, great views, dream home. This is probably a good comp. It's probably on that same road. Well, it's wooded. Okay. I'd probably use this comp too. I'm going to get rid of this one. So now our price comes down to 42,000. Let's look at one that goes for a little bit more. See why. Yeah, it's cleared. Good road frontage. So good price for this would be 42,000. We have it at 75, so we have to adjust that. I mean, we can do 45,000. That's fine. So this would be my my offer. And then do we want to subdivide it? I probably wouldn't subdivide this property. I know that it looks to be a road here, but that's somebody's driveway. So you can't subdivide off someone's driveway, right? That's theirs. That belongs to them. And so really the dead giveaway for me is twofold. This road right here has a name, Scenic Drive. So you have Scenic Drive right here, you can see. That's definitely a road. But then I'm pretty sure this is a driveway because you can see how it leads directly to their property. Right? It doesn't like continue going. It ends at their property, so it's a giveaway that it's a driveway. So you can't, again, bears repeating, you can't subdivide. So I still would mail this, but I wouldn't subdivide. Okay, what did I say here? Judgment call here. There are lots around it that have homes, so it is possible, but I don't hold a lot of value for it. I think I would price this lower than market value and still mail. So let's just take a look. Too much slope. It's in a cul-de-sac. Yeah, there's a lot of... So the thing is, there's people that are dealing with the same slope we have, but they've built homes. So if I just did a quick scan, yeah, that's at the very top. I bet it would be really nice views. I wouldn't want to buy this. Again, for the same reasons we've talked about. That's just too much slope. So I take it back. I would not mail this. So we can make this red. Oh. So good job. Let's see. Okay, this one. It's a weird shape, but has water access. Question, is a small creek considered a form of water feature that can drive land value, or does it need to be an ocean, lake, or river? So that's a great question. So let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, that's a substantial creek. And not too bad of a slope. So I definitely would mail this, but I would not subdivide this. Again, just looking at all the other properties on this street, this is already one of the smaller ones. This guy owns all 3 of these parcels. So it's a situation where maybe we mail to him on this one, but then maybe we end up locking up this parcel. That happens sometimes. But because of the road frontage, I mean, you could do something where you like subdivide it there and then make a flag lot here. I would definitely mail to this. I don't think the creek affects the value too much. I think it helps it. Put it this way, I think it's a positive feature. I don't think it has any kind of negative effects. But because it's kind of a weird lot and there's a little bit of slope, I would just price it at whatever the comps are saying to price it at. I don't think I would add value to that. Okay, so last price was $36,000 12 years ago, and this was this one. So we have it at 60. So that's in the ballpark. So I'll just make this white. We can white this one out too. Okay. One of the common themes that I started to see was you designating lots as green, where I probably wouldn't. So again, all of the things that we know would make something a great lot would be road frontage on multiple sides. Cleared land is going to be the biggest determining factor. So I think a lot of the lots that you looked at that you classified as great, I would say they're good, but great ones like that green jumps out. When I see green, I get really excited. And so that should elicit the same feeling for you. Like, wow, this is a really nice lot. It's completely cleared and it's got road frontage. All the road frontage you can dream of. So that's when I would highlight something green. Typically, you know, you will probably have somewhere around one green lot for every 10 lots that you price. So there's a lot here. So I just want to check and see. It's narrow, but it has river access, and for that reason, you might consider something gray. Yeah, it's got river access. It is narrow. Is that great? I don't know that I would call this great. I think having access to Toccoa River really drives up its value. But great to me means there is an excellent subdivision. There's an excellent subdivision possibility with the property where you can really add value on our end. That's how I determine it to be a great one. And I don't think I described it that way. So I think that's what I would think about moving forward. So I would still mail this, but I wouldn't subdivide it, and we'll just keep it white. Wide frontage water access. Yeah, so again, the contours are okay. A lot of frontage, which is great. I got rid of the contour line. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a driveway. See where this goes. Yeah, so this driveway goes through like so many different people's properties. This is crazy. So is it a driveway? It could be a road. It is a road. It's just weird how it goes through the middle of it. That's kind of annoying. I think this would be a really good lot had it not have that. So it might be difficult to subdivide this. You could probably subdivide it in half. That creates kind of a weird lot here. Without this, you could probably get 3 lots. Maybe not with the contours. So again, this is probably just a flip. I wouldn't subdivide it. And it's just an okay property. Wide frontage. Yeah, so here's a great example. I mean, I would consider this a really good lot, borderline great. So I'm okay with this being green. Let me look at the contour real quick. Yeah, so about 35 feet of slope. It's probably like up on a hill. Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to build here. So you can build up here. You probably subdivide this into 2, even with all that road frontage. It'd be hard, right? Because you can see it's kind of like up on that peak. So I would just subdivide that in half. So again, I would say yes to a subdivision, but no, it's not great. Wide frontage creek wetlands. So it doesn't. Again, I can see where your brain's going. So like this property right here is, well, if this wasn't, this would be a fantastic property if it didn't have all that wetland. So again, slope here is going to be a little challenging. See how significant that drop off is? Again, people are buying here, and having access to the creek actually would, I think, ultimately be of benefit. The problem with subdividing here is you reduce the area for somebody to put a house. When you have a bigger lot, there's probably, maybe the ideal place to put a lot is right in the middle. So when you cut it in half, you lose that land. Like you wouldn't be able to put a house right in the middle anymore. It's a cool property. I think I think what I would do is say no. This is a classic example where I would say no, but then Tyler, in looking at it, might ultimately decide, actually, I would cut this in half. But then, so now we're just mailing a flip offer, and so they would just get one price from us in the letter, and if they call back, it means that flip price was in the right range, and then we can negotiate off that price, and ultimately on our end decide if we want to subdivide it. I don't think we would subdivide that though. The slope makes it kind of hard. Am I confusing you at all? There's a lot of nuances to this, so it's not always straightforward. Alright. Okay, a lot of road frontage here. I like this property. You could probably at least make it 3 lots. But again, I don't think it's great because it is a little sloped and it's not cleared. So definitely subdivide. So just go back after this call, and all the ones that we said no to, just put a flip offer price in there. Wide frontage has water access lake. Is this the one we just looked at? No. Yeah. All the lots around there are about this size. So I don't think I would make this any smaller. So I'd say no. We make this white. So I think the take-home message today is like, be conservative with what you determine to be green. It really needs to jump out. I think we just looked at this one. Did we just look at this one? No. Okay, definitely subdivide. But I wouldn't make it green. There's a couple in there that are definitely great, and we'll highlight those just to kind of see the difference. So there looks like there's a structure on there, although I don't see it. There's a road that goes through it, somebody's driveway. So there's an easement here. I probably wouldn't subdivide this. I suppose that you can kind of split it in half on either side of the driveway. This creek makes it harder. You'd have to put a house here, and then you could put a house here. Yeah, you could subdivide this, but this would not be great. This is just decent. Alright. Weird comp. Data shows this lot has 500 plus acres. That's why it's showing that this lot is worth 9 million. Sometimes the data in land insights is just off. So it's this property, Joel Bowman. So when we comp it, let's see what we got. 2.6. Ooh, you know what I wonder? I wonder if you accidentally grab this one. Yeah. I think when you were just clicking, you accidentally picked this one up and comped it. I do that too. NFUS, whatever that is. So it's actually this property. So just go back and grab the right one when you price it. I've done that a million times. Does that make sense? Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Partly wooded and partly cleared. Alright, now we're starting to get into some clearing. Yeah, so I would consider this a pretty good property. There's a little bit of slope, but that cleared, like if you cut this in half, this would be ready to go, right? It's already cleared. It's just a bush or a tree. This one has more trees on this side. It's heavily wooded, but still there's some clearing. So if you just did that, I like this property. I'd consider this green. And yes, you could subdivide, so that's good. Let's look at this one. Narrow and too much slope. That's a bad combination. Yep, don't like that one bit. I guess you could put a house down here. And this is a paper road. So I actually put that in one of our notes in one of the properties. So you can see that they put a road in here. It's a paper road, so it only exists on paper. They didn't actually put a road in. So there is access here, but if somebody wanted to put their house down here, they would have to pave a road or put down gravel or dirt or something. This isn't a good property, so good job making that red. Alright, let's look at this one. Double frontage. Alright, we like double frontage. Yep, I agree. So you could probably split that in half, make 1, 2, 3 lots there. So we'll keep that green. So this one's green. Has water, so it has a lot of slope. Yeah, that's going to be too much slope, I'm afraid. That's just it's a cool lot. I know people have built, what is that? Is that a house? Yeah. You know, we might take a flyer on this with the slope, because people might decide that they have to build like a very unique home. I would mail this. And I'm okay. I'm okay with making that great. That river really could drive value. People could put in a dock for their boat. It's kind of unique. Wild frontage. Let's see what that means. Yeah, that's definitely, you can definitely subdivide that. Yeah, too much slope, narrow, don't like it. Good job. Alright. There's a house erected on the land. Wide frontage. Yeah. That's a legitimate house. So we're not going to mail that. Anything with a real house on it, no need to mail. Has a lot of road frontage, but it's kind of a weird shape. Alright. It is a unique shape, but it's not too crazy. But the road frontage is really good. We probably go 1, 2. You probably get 3 lots there. That's good. Okay, so sometimes this happens, and I think it's similar to one maybe before. We'll see if it includes, if this person had bought multiple parcels. So Richard Green, do we see a Richard Green anywhere? I don't. Now that doesn't mean, well, hold on one second. So this is saying it was 38 years ago, it was bought for 20,000. I'm just checking to see if that. Yeah, I'm not sure where you saw that. Oh, this land is expensive out here. Yeah, so here's a great example. They created this lot that doesn't have any access to it. So there better be an easement somewhere. Otherwise, like if we were to mail this lot, what? So I'm not sure. Again, this is the property in question. It says purchase was 20,000 38 years ago.
Oh, that's weird.
Sometimes that happens. It's okay. So just double check. I mean, you did the best thing. The best thing that you could do when you're not sure is make it orange, because we caught it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you just kind of price it anyways, we would have missed it. Double frontage, not much slope. What's weird about this is all this other land is going really for a lot of money. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of road frontage. What road is this? Is this a road? I don't see a name. Is this a driveway? Yeah, it's this person's driveway. See how it goes, loops right into the middle of their lot? So that's a driveway, so we wouldn't be able to subdivide off of this property. Off of this driveway. So we'll say no to subdivision. And that's just something you haven't encountered yet, right? We haven't really talked about that too much. But now you have. So now we know. Ooh. Okay, this was a cool one. So you could subdivide this. In fact, I probably would. This is a really good lot. I mean, it's right on the river there. It's not even a river. That looks like a lake. I mean, it is a lake. This is a really good lot. Purchased 500,000 30 years ago. So yeah, I would subdivide. You did a good job just making it green. Make that my problem. I'll come up with a price somehow, but you don't have to worry about that. Corner block. Yeah, this is a good property. I'm good. So the reason why I'm good, even though it's not cleared, I'm good when you make that green, because I could subdivide a lot of lots off this. I could probably turn this into 5 lots if I wanted to. There's some smaller ones right down the road. So if I just measured that, it may be 4 lots. Even though it's not cleared, like I said, when you have the ability to subdivide not just in half, but into 4 or 5 or more, that makes it a good lot. So I'm good with that being green. But I think the take-home message for that is like this rectangle, when the long side of the property like this is road frontage, even if there's only, I mean, technically, I guess you can consider this double road frontage. But when the long side of the lot has road frontage, that usually is a nice indication you can subdivide quite a bit. Double road frontage, so you could split it right in half. Again, I don't think I would call this green. I think it's a really good lot. But just by simply indicating that it needs to be subdivided, I will also, I'm coming in and pricing all the land that's, well, no, just green. I'm fine for now leaving this green, but I typically don't think I would make this green. A lot of road frontage. Got 2 parcels. Yeah. So all you really need, you probably make this into 3 lots. There's some slope here. Actually, you could cut that in half. Put one there, put one here, put one here. You can make this 5. Yeah, that's green for sure. Cleared, not much slope, huge road frontage. This is okay. Something like this really gets me excited when it's cleared. Cleared again. Clearance and road frontage are going to be the ones that really would drive it to be green. So I could probably subdivide this 3 different ways, and it being cleared, it's going to go for a nice price. So that's good. Huge road frontage. Yeah, and it being down by this creek. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's good. That's fine being green. Too much slope. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. That's too much slope. Good call on that. You're doing such a great job, Jessa. I know I keep saying that, but I'm very impressed. Okay, so again, this is a great opportunity for, it's cleared, it's got decent road frontage. You could probably do 1, 2, maybe 3 lots. Maybe. There's some smaller lots right down the road. I'm good with that. That's definitely green. Yeah, too much slope, not enough road frontage. That's a weird lot. Good call on that. So what did we say here? Yeah, double road frontage. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can create 4 lots there. Near the highway too. I'd be curious if this has utilities. Let's take a quick peek at this. So the way that it looks, it's kind of upside down, but oh, interesting. So here you can get access to it. So it's this property right here. Nah, this is an old road. It's not going to have sewer. Probably not any. I mean, it has electric. You can see here. Let's look up here. Yeah, probably no utilities outside. But still, with a multiple road frontage, even though you don't have access here, I would still, you could still subdivide. There's a lot of small lots here. So I'm fine with that being green. Double road frontage. Split this in half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's green. So now that it's getting into, relatively bigger lots, now we're in that 4 to 5 acre range. It opens up your options. When it's really, really small, it's gonna take pretty much under 5 acres. I wouldn't highlight it green unless it had clearing. I think that's a good rule of thumb. So let's look at this one. Too much slope. Yep, don't like it. All right, this one had a narrow frontage, wide lot behind. So let's take a peek at that. Yeah, this is a cool lot. I know it's a weird shape. I wouldn't subdivide this, right, because of the road frontage. You could technically put 2 driveways, and one here and one there, but it's better to be conservative. Could I turn this into 2 lots? Probably, but it would require a little bit of work, so I would just say no. Wide frontage quarter lot. Now we're at almost 6 acres. Yep, probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. That can be green. Okay, a couple we're unsure about. Near river, price was 200. Yeah, so this should be purchased for 200. I don't see Billie Jean anywhere. They don't have access to the river, so it's just here, Billie Jane Martin. So let's look at our comp price. So we got a pretty wide gap, 40,000 per acre. So let's just look, see if we missed any. Huh. Alright, let's look at these comps. Just adjust my feet here. Alright. So, you can toggle this. So this is right down the street. This is a 6-acre property, so that's why this is under 3 acres. So again, 6, I would probably do 5 to 7 would be my band. Yeah, this is just too small. I'm okay with grabbing this one. It's close enough. Yeah, it's wooded. That's a good one, especially days on market's good. This 2.5 lot, again, you could probably make 2.5 lots, or 2.5 lots, or 3 2-acre lots or something. But this is just too small of a lot. This is in its own market. This is a different property, so I would get rid of that. So now we're a little bit closer to where we need to be. This is 9 acres. So again, your comps that you pulled for this 6 to 6.5 acre lot was anywhere from 2.5 to 9. I think that's too wide of a bandwidth for. So a 6-acre lot should have been between 5 and 7. So let's just look at this 9-acre lot. Does that have a street view? No. HOA. Yeah, I probably wouldn't grab this one. It's just on the outside of. So these are probably your 2 best comps. And then there's this one that's 10 miles away. It sold in a month. It was priced really low. You could grab it if you want. Let's see what it does to the price if I grabbed it. So again, just a frame of reference. Really good lot. It's saying it's worth $67,000. We're pricing it at $145, let's call it. If I added this last one, what would it do? It would drop it significantly. I don't want to do that. This is a good lot. So it's 145. You had it at 200, but we know that it sold for 195, right? $198. So the number one thing is you made it orange. So now you got my attention. So now I can go in here and decide what I want to do. I know that I could probably make at least 3 lots. So let's say I wanted to get a sense of what the after retail value would be for a subdivision if I made 3 2-acre lots. Now I can just go here to here. I would be subdividing at this point. So yes, it'd be subdivided. I'm actually okay with the 200,000 because it's going to produce a price of 100, and I know that they paid 200 for it. So maybe we need to actually up the value if there is signs that lots go for a lot of money there. So I don't like this comp, right? This 2-acre lot only sold for 38,000, but it's probably not near the river. Yeah, these comps stink. Let me look at this one. Yeah, I don't like these comps. So this is the one that you grabbed earlier. Sold for 140. So like, let's hypothetically say I grab that one. Now that brings it up to 206. If I got rid of those. Oop. best case scenario, I might be able to get around 336 if for some reason those comps sold. Yeah, this is a tricky one. I wish I had a very straightforward answer. I think I would do, we'll call it 300,000. You know, so now I'm giving them an offer for 100 to 150,000. That gets us closer to the ballpark of what they paid for it.
So, in case that the property is like sold for like 200, the remedy would be is to get a smaller lot so that the comp will get high. Is it right?
No, I went through the process of pricing the subdivision. Don't worry about that. I just want you to price the land based on how it presently sits. Right? So, like you did, the only thing I would change there is I wouldn't grab that 2.5 acre comp that you grabbed. I also wouldn't grab the 9 acre comp that you grabbed. That's just too wide of a acreage band. If it's 6 acres, you should go between 5 and 7. So these are the comps you should have pulled. And even without even really diving too deep in it, the goal is to hopefully find, okay, if I only look anything under 10, the only comp you have here is this 18. So if I got rid of this, yeah, it's comped at 115. The only reason I would offer a little bit more is just to kind of get them on the phone. This could be a situation where it's the son that or daughter that inherited the property, because the purchase was a while ago, 20 years, and they haven't done anything. Billy Jane might have been somebody's grandparent or something. So I think it's worth giving them a decent enough price to get them on the phone. This is an example where Tyler and I need to talk down the price so that, you know, we could purchase it at a price that makes